Auto pedestrian accidents are car accidents where a pedestrian is hit by a vehicle. This is much more common of an occurrence than one might think. According to the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Association, there was a total of 5,376 fatalities in 2015 from pedestrians being hit by a vehicle in the United States. Auto pedestrian accidents can be a scary and traumatizing event and in many cases lead to severe bodily harm. Depending on the situation, a pedestrian may be able to recover damages if the incident occurred due to someone else's negligence. If you or someone you know was hit by a car, you may be thinking about what you should do next. Due to statutes of limitations, you only have a certain amount of time to make a car accident claim for your injuries. Getting hit by a car can be an extremely dangerous, sometimes fatal, experience. If you are hit by a car or witness a pedestrian get hit by a car, there are some things that you should know. The following is a list of advice for a pedestrian that was just hit by a car. If you are able to yourself, get to a safe location to avoid any further danger. If you are unable to do so, ask for help from the driver or any nearby witnesses. While assisting an injured pedestrian, it is critical to not attempt any medical treatment beyond what would be necessary in an emergency situation, such as CPR. Police will arrive quickly with help if anyone has been injured. Not only will police help an injured person, but they are also be the best equipped to handle the situation. Authorities will take statements from both the driver and the pedestrian, as well as any witnesses to the accident to determine who was at fault. Exchange insurance information and call a pedestrian accident attorney and your insurance company. Ask for a representative from your insurance company to come to the scene as well. The police will take statements and create a police report of the accident. In this report, they may rule who was at fault or conduct a detailed investigation. Auto insurance companies are able to dispute whatever findings are in the police report, so you will want the company that represents you present. If you have health insurance as well as auto insurance, it may be useful to contact each respective company. It is crucial that you do not give too much information at the scene of the accident. Jackson White highly recommends you call an auto pedestrian lawyer before you engage in any conversation other than exchanging insurance information. Remember the phrase, anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. When a person is hit by a car, one of the biggest questions will be, who is at fault for the accident? The answer to this question is determined by the law of negligence. In this case, which person failed to exercise the standard duty of care. There are also situations where both the pedestrian and the driver of the vehicle could be deemed negligent. To get a better understanding, we will cover the duty of care of the possible parties. Pedestrians' duty of care. Although they are not operating a vehicle, pedestrians are still expected to exercise a standard duty of care. Failing to exercise this properly, pedestrians could be proven to have had contributory negligence. In other words, contributing to the accident and a cause to their injuries because of it. Here are a few examples of what can be assessed as contributory negligence. Crossing the street in an unmarked area or jaywalking, ignoring the signals at an intersection and crossing in a marked area without the proper walk signal. Suddenly moving in front of a vehicle, driver's duty of care. The responsibility weighs higher on the side of the driver as they are the ones that are operating a motor vehicle. Failure to act upon this standard is not only considered to be negligent, but can be extremely dangerous, and in some circumstances, fatal. Here are a few examples of what would be considered negligent from the driver's point of view. Texting while you are driving, speeding. Failing to yield to pedestrians that have the right of way, failing to obey traffic signs or signals, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, not taking into regard weather and traffic conditions. Drivers also need to exercise a special duty of care in regards to children being nearby. According to NHTSA, children between the ages of 5 to 9 have the highest odds of getting hit by a car. Children in this age range are smaller and less visible to drivers. Children can also be unpredictable and have a slower ability to react in a situation that calls for quick judgment. This is why the law imposes that a driver has a greater duty of care for the operator of a vehicle whenever there are children nearby. The presence of a child should be a warning sign of danger to the driver, who should, in response, exercise greater amounts of care. Parks, schools, and residential areas generally have signs posted to watch for children. However, it is assumed whenever a driver enters one of these areas that they start to exercise a higher degree of caution. Failing to do so, whether a sign is posted or not, can be considered negligent. While the police will make a report at the scene of the accident determining who they believe is at fault for the accident, it is always in the best interest of the pedestrian to reach out to a pedestrian accident attorney. Although the police will do their best to determine who was at fault, there are often things that they can miss. This is why we not only recommend consulting a pedestrian accident attorney, but also to reach out to your insurance provider at the time of the accident. Insurance representatives will perform their own investigation of the accident, and oftentimes there can be details uncovered that were not disclosed in the police report. Call our personal injury team at 480-485-4482 to discuss your case today.